Hello, welcome back. I hope you're having an amazing day. Today I wanted to discuss the book that a lot of us read together, and that is Cozy Minimalist Home, More Style, Less Stuff by Michaelyn Smith. I hope I'm saying her name right. And I absolutely loved this book. If you read along with me, I would love to hear what you thought about the book down in the comments below. I will announce the next book in the description box below and also on my Instagram channel. You can follow me over there if you would like to talk about the book more. I have my notes. I wrote some notes on what I thought about the book so I could stay on task. I'll start with a recap of the book and then I will go into a little more detail of how I applied this to my life and also how I can relate to a lot of what she wrote in the book. The book starts out talking about her story of how she became more minimal, especially in the way she decorates her home. She says that she no longer wanted to be a stuff manager, which I can completely relate to. And she kept thinking the more decor she had, the nicer her home would look. And I can insert a clip right here of how I used to think that exact same thought. When we first moved into our condo over 6 years ago, there were a lot of shelves in one area of our home, and I always felt the more I could cram on those shelves, the better my house would look, the more stylish it would look. And it turned out that it actually just made my home look extremely cluttered. It wasn't until I started to become more minimalist and start decluttering my entire life when I realized I should remove 2 of the shelves. And that transformed the room from looking like a cluttered disaster area to a nice cozy kitchen dining area. When you have too many items in your home, whether it's decor or other things, you become a stuff manager, which is you're constantly having to take care of these items, move them around and find places for them, organize them and reorganize them. And that takes up a lot of your time. And that's another thing I came to realize as I became more minimal. The less knickknacks I have, the more space and time I get in my life, and also I can appreciate the items that I do want to keep even more. Michaelyn has written an entire section on couches in her Minimalist Cozy Home book, and I completely agree with every single thing she said in this chapter. She even says if you're not in the market for a couch, or if you already have a couch you love, you can just skip that chapter. I personally decided to read it because I thought the more I can learn, the better. And I agree with everything she said, because one point she makes is that you're better off investing in a couch that is maybe a little bit more expensive, but that can last you a lot longer. And the couch behind me is a perfect example of what not to do. So when we first moved into our condo, we honestly could not afford a really nice expensive couch. And if you can't afford it, then you do what you have to do. And she mentions that in the book as well. At the time, this couch was a come in a box type couch, and we made it ourselves. This was pretty inexpensive when it comes to couches. I think it was maybe $400, and it's a very large couch. It also has not stood the test of time. I have 2 little boys, and their favorite thing to do is beat this couch up. And as you can see, the pillows are just not holding up. The couch itself is not holding up. So of course, at the time I didn't have enough money to invest in a really nice couch, so we did what we could. But now when I'm going to buy my new couch eventually, I will definitely save up money and invest in a couch that will last a lot longer. Her explanation goes along the lines of if you buy a couch every year or every few years for $400 to $600, you're gonna waste a lot more money than if you buy a couch for $1,000 to $2,000, but you're able to keep it for 25 to 30 years. And this is very true. We're keeping this until they can sit properly, not jump on the couch and all of that. So I'm guessing this couch is going to be here for at least another year or two. And we'll save up the money so we can afford the couch and buy it completely without any credit and just own a nice couch. And the good thing about that is I can spend time figuring out exactly what I want and I don't have to rush into a decision. In one section of the book, she encourages everyone to come up with their own style. And what she says is that there is no perfect style that you're gonna find that you can just copy exactly out of a book, because everyone has their own preferences for what they like. And there is no perfect style. And I think she had some funny saying like, you're not going to be able to use farmhouse, country, modern, minimalist. You're not going to find an exact title for your exact style, because everybody has their own idea of what they like and what they feel is cozy and what will work in their home. And I completely agree with that, again, because I have two small children. It does not make sense for me to have glass or for me to have a whole bunch of tiny little knickknacks. Things will get broken. So I have gone with a lot of what she said because of having children, which is to decorate with large lamps and to really make your space work for your home and your season of life that you are currently in. One thing that she suggests is to empty a room and really feel it out before you start putting furniture in. Luckily, when we moved in here, this room was empty and I didn't even have this furniture except for the couch behind me. And then I let it sit like that for at least 2 months before I started getting furniture. And so she suggests to do something along those lines. Even if you have furniture, move it out and really feel the space and then move the furniture around to the best location. And I did that when I first bought this furniture. Then you're gonna wanna bring in some lighting, and she has a formula in the book, and if you want to read the book, I do suggest looking at that. I'm not going to give away her exact formula, but she does go over how lighting can make your home so much more cozy. And I also got that from the little book of Hygge, which I did a video on, I'll link below. But that was one thing in this room, is we did not have any lighting, so that was such a problem. So I did go with some two large lamps in here, and it really gives off that nice yellow glow, so it feels so cozy. I also added a really large rug in this room, which she does suggest as well. The one tip that was really surprising to me that I never thought of, I did learn that from her book, is that you should paint whatever color you want to do last. When we first moved into this house, we painted our whole house white inside, and that's just because it hadn't been painted for probably 20 years. So we wanted a fresh coat of paint. But she said when you go to pick a paint color for your walls that you should wait till you're completely done and set up your room, even hanging art, everything, and then paint. And it makes so much sense to me. I never thought about this. And that's because it's easier to pick a paint color that can go with everything in the room rather than paint a wall and then try to pick everything to go with the paint on the wall. That was just mind-blowing to me. So she does have some really good tips in this book. I really recommend reading it, because if you're looking to make your home minimal yet cozy, there are some really, really good tips in here. I'll insert a clip of what we did in our old home with the paint that was wrong. We painted one wall in our living room first, before we put the furniture in there, a dark gray. Then we added a dark gray rug and a dark gray couch. And that room, from the moment we did that, I could not stand the feel of that room. I made it as nice as I could, but what probably needed to happen is we probably needed to repaint that dark wall a different color, so there would have been more contrast. And when I read that you should paint last, that is what stood out to me as, wow, we really did that wrong in our last place. I'm thankful that she wrote that section about painting last, because we still haven't added a lot of art to our walls. We're kind of filling our space out and adding items really slowly, and I want to pick all the art before I pick the colors for the walls. I do intend to paint some walls a shade of gray or maybe a teal like we did in our old place, because I love color and I do feel that can make your home feel a little bit warmer and more cozy. As I mentioned, one of my favorite parts of the book was at the very end when she actually talks about having enough. And what she says is, one of the best parts of cozy minimalism is the odd sensation you begin to experience, one that most people never allow themselves to feel. It's called enough. In a lot of ways, this is a very interesting way to think. I just want to make my home set exactly how it is for a while and just be happy with it, just live with it. And she goes on to say, many people never know they are allowed to say they have enough. It almost seems un-American. Enough doesn't mean everything is perfect. It simply means you have enough because you've met a goal, whether in your home, at work, in your closet, on your dinner plate, or in your schedule. You get to say that's enough. And to me, that is just, she spoke what I was thinking about becoming minimal, decluttering. It's not a race to have nothing. I get comments once in a while that say, you're not minimalist because you have 6 chairs at your dining table, or you have too many plants, whatever the comment is sometimes. And I think that's not what minimalism is for me. It's about just having enough to make me happy, yet stay organized and just live a simple life and focus on the things that I love, having fun with my family, getting to travel, having experiences. It's always great to have goals, but at the same time, to me, minimalism is just not a race to have the least amount of items. Another quote I want to read from the book is, you'll know your home is in a good place when you go from thinking about how to make it look better to thinking about how to make it serve better. And since decluttering the last few years, that is my goal now, is just to make our home work for us. We have 2 small children. There's a lot of things that just don't apply to us when it comes to decor, as well as keeping things. It just doesn't make sense. So if there's toys that I don't like, that don't work for our family, I declutter those. And it's just making your life work for you and not worrying about what's the trend. The last section I'm gonna read is this little quote at the very end, and this is why you should read this book, because there's a lot of really great sections in there. And she says, being a cozy minimalist takes more thought than being a sold out minimalist or a sold out maximalist. You are committing to a lifelong practice of paying attention and evaluating your home based on your needs and the needs of the people you love. You know your home serves you best when it's somewhere in the center of that tension between peaceful simplicity and cozy abundance. Now go love your family and friends in your cozy minimalist home. And that quote right there is what has made me love this book. So if you would like to learn how to have a cozy minimalist home, I definitely recommend this book. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about this book. And also you can go to my Instagram to see what we're going to read next, or the description box below. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have an amazing day.